9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Oh, 7 star citizens, and welcome to Answer the Call,
Whoa,
your
where did
weekly
that
Star
come
Citizen
from?
podcast.
Where did that hat come from? He was
I don't know what
hiding
he's
it.
talking about, chat.
He was hiding it. Happy holidays,
Hello,
everybody.
everyone. Merry Chris and New Year, etc. Unfortunately, the holidays are going to be overshadowed by something very big that happened this week in Star Citizen. But before we get into that, how you doing, Mike? How was your week?
I'm good. Yeah, so we're doing the podcast really early this morning because I have
Yep.
some family coming in town at 7 a.m. Eastern time, and this is the earliest Croncy's ever done the podcast, I think. The only other time I did a podcast this early, I think, was to get Virgil on the podcast for something because he's also Australian, and he was like, dude, I'm not coming on at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I can sacrifice that. Not most people can.
Not most,
So.
not your average. You're built differently. But yeah, so 4.0 went, I put it in live quotations, but it's live. It's live. It's for all intents and purposes, it's live.
For most intents and purposes, it is live.
Yeah, because not everything is working very well. But I think it's more live light. 4.0 light, it would be a better way of saying it, because it doesn't have all the features and things that they want. Like even their last minute, let's get this thing out, what they wanted, because the mission stuff didn't go too well. And me personally, things like engineering, fire, base building, like a bunch of other, I don't know, what people had expectations for to be in 4.0 on launch, but this is a very dumbed down is not the right word, but I think light is probably the best.
Yeah, I've been calling it the soft launch.
Yeah,
because it's sort of like it's a way for them to release the patch in a way that matters for players, but they don't have to lean on it as hard as they would a normal patch, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that anyone is playing 320. What patch was it? 324.3 or whatever. No one's playing the other live patch.
I will be this week. Yeah, because I want to get now that I have the ability
Save
to,
Stanton.
I want to get the save Stanton on my 2 alts, because you never know, like, what if 5 years from now the Ardors are like the best weapon of all
Tier
time?
0.
Yeah. So I just was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna want those. So that was my idea behind that. But yeah, who's gonna play it for any other reason other than that? I don't know.
The whole point is like, hey, we're releasing the patch. It's still buggy, and we still need to do fixes, but we're going to at least let you progress. And to me, that's a live patch. That is like, cool. I have reason to play this, and I have goals that I can achieve on it in a at least somewhat long-term goal, right?
Yeah.
And it might be best to go a day-by-day analysis of the patch.
I think we should start out a little bit before that. Is the one thing that CIG does is they always, like, whenever they push a patch out to live that's garbage, they always use the excuse of, well, we needed a wider audience to test. And the last couple days of the PTU were feeling pretty good, I would say. So like we weren't seeing the issues that we're seeing now that are clearly cropping up because more people are playing. So the excuse,
not just that, there was stuff like
you don't have to like it.
Servers in the PTU,
True.
right? Like I've finally gotten to experience Australian servers, so all that sort of stuff now happens.
Yeah, and the like all that stuff is true. Like you don't have to like it. It's obviously not fun, and we'll get more into that because letter for the chairman stuff and things that Chris have said are basically what they did contradicts what he wrote in a lot of ways, right?
Sure.
So it's there's that. But yeah, if you want to go day by day, I mean, I think the first thing to do is letter for the chairman, personally.
Well, that was the first thing on pretty much on that day. As we were sort of approaching what we were expecting to be release day, because of like the last few days of PTU at the time, there was a surprise letter from the chairman. I don't tend to put a lot of weight in these, but there's a lot of good information about sort of like anytime you read these, it's like, where are the execs' heads at, right? when we
it's just
when we
their
come around to these
intentions
sort of
again,
things.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, it's I like the acknowledgement of we tried to do quality of life last year, but because of the way we like it's I just feel vindicated every year. I feel more and more vindicated because it's shit that I've been saying for years, and then they're kind of like, oh, well, doing it this way is like it makes it really hard, and it's like, yeah, man, it does, and like, what the hell? So, yeah, I just feel vindicated. So the idea of running their live development, their live environment in the middle of game development, as Jared's always saying, yeah, it's fucking stupid, and in a lot of ways, because then they're just making things unstable, and they're making the experience for the people that they're like. Who are you making this game for? Did you watch the Game Awards, by the way?
Yes.
That I did not, but I watched this morning. The first video I watched this morning when I woke up was the Larian Head announcing the game of the year, and just basically saying, I know what the next game of the year is going to be, and it's not going to be from these big corporate, like, push it out garbage companies. And like, it's almost like he also saw that, but missed the point.
Yeah.
A lot, because he was like, oh, you know, my whole career I've created games that I want to play as a gamer. And it's like, would you play this? Would you play this right now? Are you playing this right now, Chris? I doubt you are, right? So, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, it's almost like he watched it while not getting the point of like putting all the garbage in the game that is anti-player, right? And is as more, but like, I get it also is you have to fund everything now because everything's really expensive to get to that point. But yeah, whatever. I just, that's one thing that like, I was like, he definitely saw this, and he thinks in his head he's the same as them, and he's not, or the company is not, I should say. But yeah, it's funny. It's very, very, very funny.
But yeah, so obviously the big news from the letter from the chairman was them first talking about how 4.0 is getting rolled out and got rolled out later that day, which is essentially 2 live builds with 1 not mattering really, except for kind of like you said, Mike, to save Stanton.
Yep.
And then the other build being 4.0 in a more traditionally buggier state than they want for a live release, and progress mattering still.
Yep.
Which was interesting. I think, like, we were talking last week, you know, we don't want them to release 4.0. They probably will. What will it be like? I was not expecting this, and this felt like a weird middle ground of like, okay, it's kind of just option. Like, yeah, it's kind of just like PTU, but yeah, like it matters, and then like, sure, like you can do all your marketing and whatnot. It still might not have a great impact, and it might not do the game particularly well, especially on a day like today. But you can at least do what you wanted to do in a safe-ish way. I would like them to never do this again, though. This specific thing that they've done.
Yeah.
But
they theoretically, you know, outside of something like dynamic server meshing, they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. There should be no major shakeups anymore. Like, from this point forward, it should be about strengthening what you already have, optimizing what you already have, and then building the actual game on top of that foundation. This is the foundation finally, right? In a lot of ways. Is it extremely shaky and not supported very well and all that stuff? Yes. Is it a good foundation? No. But I mean, there's no denying the fact that there's 600 players in servers now, and you can see it, right? So that is right off the bat. Yeah, you can see it. You can feel it right off the bat. Huge improvement there. Massive improvement, warranting the 4.0 number on the patch. That's, for me, all this patch is. And then, unfortunately, the mission system refactor is not there. The transit refactor is not there. Some of those things are probably going to cause some issues in the future as well, but nothing as significant as something like PES did, or this will, right?
Not just that. I imagine when those things get implemented, there won't be a 2 to 3 week holiday immediately after it, right?
Correct.
So that's the big reason why this patch was going to be scary.
Yeah, which is what we were all afraid of. Like the post that Burks made, all the conversations that we had here, begging, pleading them not to put this live.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my normal negative thing for a second here. Yes, we are able to play 4.0 and we are able to make progress. But if it's as broken as it is, and as like it is, this is better than my expectations of level of broken. To be fair, let me start it out with a positive. This, all things considered, is a fairly smooth release because I think a lot of people's expectations were a lot closer to 3.18 than where we are now, right? So
correct. Especially the first 24 to 36 hours, depending on certain things. But
we'll see how it is the end of next week, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. And there's been a lot of things that have fallen apart. I see somebody asking, has the QT bug been fixed? Kind of.
Yeah, sort of, but it broke other things.
Well, not only that, is they still have servers up with it on.
Yeah, without the fix.
That you could join. It's just like, what are you doing? So now the negative is if all these things like quantum travel are broken, missions disappearing is something that's just starting to happen as I woke up this morning. That progress isn't enjoyable to make. So if you're fighting the game the whole time, or I should say it's less enjoyable to make. I don't want to say it's not enjoyable. It is.
Yeah, no.
But it's
if you are fighting
enjoyable.
the game the whole time to do things that are enjoyable, then of course it's not enjoyable.
Exactly. So like you're doing all these things saying you can make progress, but do you even want to? I'm approaching this a lot slower than I thought I would. I thought it was going to be, 10-hour a day streams playing, nonstop. Yeah, I got to make money. I got to get my rep. Bro, I have a 50% mission completion percentage. Like getting the rep goes slow as it is, and then on top of that, it's like it's failing constantly. So it's just not a good look at the moment, right? So it's tough.
It is, but that's the thing. Like the first day being so weirdly stable, at least in my experience, so like very very little bugs, like regular Star Citizen bugs to encounter. I did have that. Like I want to go for 10 hours. I just want to do contested zones over and over. I want to get this reward. I'm actually feeling like I'm losing track of time, which is a thing that when I'm playing Star Citizen doesn't happen often.
No, I'm usually looking at the clock.
Aware.
I'm usually looking at the clock.
When can I end stream?
Yep.
But yeah, I was actually losing time and I was really enjoying myself and getting really engrossed in it. And then yesterday, less so as some bugs started to rear their head. Today, I haven't jumped on it all. And I kind of don't want to with just the sheer amount of like disasters that I'm hearing are happening today. But that day one release has given me a lot of hope for like February. I don't have a lot of hope for like, and I don't have a lot of hope for like the next few days, or really the next day. It's probably one more day before everyone's on break. And so realistically, end of January, start of Feb is when we'll see more fixes come in.
Yeah, but, we'll do a prediction section of the show, but we have, before we do that, we have to talk about this. So this is the thing they do every year, which is it's going to be better though next year, guys. Like believe us, this time it's going to be better. And I feel like this past year was just, I have never played the game less. Right? I've never played the game less than I did this year, while simultaneously playing Arena Commander more than I did when the only game you could play was Arena Commander. So I still played Star Citizen, but not the PU.
Yeah.
And do I think this time will be different? First off, let's say what they're going to do, right? Their idea here now is separating content from features. and updating things that are already in the game, or small stuff can come in the patch smoother, while things like maybe the hanger update will sit on an experimental PTU. So now the ePTU, where a lot of people were using it incorrectly, it was just an extra PTU that they could utilize, like they had an extra branch that they could use. Now will mean something. It will be a separate experimental branch for certain things that they are afraid are going to destabilize the servers and cause issues, and needs that time to cook. I think this makes sense, but given everything we know and how quickly people get burned out as testers, are they ever going to hit the focus testing that they're looking for to get these things out live? For me, it has to be an internal culture change of accepting, like, just ship it out, just get it out the door, we got to move on to the next thing, or whatever. Like, you have to have higher standards for what you're putting in your live servers, and they just don't.
But like, is there another, like there'll always be a end of yearly patch, but is there going to be another patch of 4.0 scope until 1.0? Probably not. And so with that in mind, I wonder if it won't be as, I think it'll still be an issue, but probably not as much of an issue. So it's like, obviously,
right,
I do want them to change that attitude. I don't know if it's as necessary as doing stuff like this, where
Crafting,
it's like,
maybe, or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Like, these really big overarching features might be problematic, but again, it feels like the tech things that touch everything are going to be way more problematic than a crafting kind of touches everything, right? But on a
it touches everything, but less on like a tech scale, I think, and much more on just a gameplay scale. So it's more like actual gameplay balancing, One thing I was going to talk about this, because when I read this at first, I was like, is this not just what they said the tech preview channel was going to be? It feels very similar in my mind to that. The whole idea of the tech preview channel, my understanding in the past was, something like engineering would be on the tech preview channel in a build. And then it's irrelevant what happens to live and PTU while it's in the tech preview. And then eventually it gets added.
They even say it there somewhere in here, that they literally they say it's going to be on a tech like they're basically renaming tech preview to ePTU.
Okay.
As you can see here,
maybe giving it more like guidelines or something. I don't know.
No idea. But if you look here, there's no tech preview on this timeline. So that's essentially what it is. What they said they were doing is, instead of just the tech preview like that they were doing with server meshing recently, it's not just going to be that. It's going to be anything that is
anything that needs some cook time.
Yes, exactly. That they're afraid would cause some instability. What does that mean? I don't know yet. I feel like we're going to get I think we just slowed down the development of Star Citizen by another year again, because I think things will take a little bit longer to get into the game. But at the same time, are they? Are they slowing down the development, or are they just doing it at the same pace?
Polishing the release, like
if more people are playing in the game, more money comes in, more developers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like I don't see how this on paper is a bad thing. It's just their implementations are never how Chris Roberts writes it on paper, right?
I will say one thing this also presumably means, in some fashion, is that we're always, well, not necessarily always, but like the idea is to be on like the 4.0 code base now for the next few foreseeable patches, right? We've had it a little bit in the past where it would be like, here is the release of 3.18. 3.19 was on the 3.18 code base, right? Other patches like that. Because otherwise it would be weird, I imagine, for them to be testing these features in old code bases and then try to implement them later, right?
And that's meaningful because the old code bases were PES and then RMQ and these like huge behind the scenes tech things. So it mattered if you stayed on the same one for a while, hoping for things to get more stable because they were doing these big tech things. This should be the last kind of big tech thing for a while, as far as we understand. So the idea here is we should just be stabilizing what we currently have, which is
and building up on 4.0 instead of replacing it every next patch.
Which is literally 6 times the players, triple the area, tons more commodities. Like the opportunities here to actually make this enjoyable, like for more than just the people who follow the project really closely, I think is very high, but we'll see what happens, right?
Yep.
I don't know. The last thing is that they want to make patches more themed, I guess, but the explanations they gave were or the examples they gave were Overdrive and Save Stanton. And I think those are horrible examples of how they should be doing things.
Like, they were, but I get it. Is like those events were implemented really badly and just had a lot of bugs. But I get what they're trying to say. We'll see if they can get it to work at some point.
Yeah, but it's also like I've always called for this, and it makes it may make no sense from, you know, I don't work there. I don't know how any of this stuff works, but I've always was like, when they delivered the hangars, it should have been the cargo patch. They even like kind of marketed it as that.
Yeah.
And then it just isn't, right? There was just like there were some cargo missions, but you know, they didn't make cargo easily to trade between each other, and you know, they didn't go to the Great Cat Rock and make that work better, you know, like there's like, all right, what are the cargo issues? What are the cargo like features that we want to do? What are the, you know, and then you could just go down the list for that patch and do all of that, right? Go through and you know, I talked about the layout of cargo ships. Like you can maybe figure something out there. And no, right? Bounty Hunter patch is something that when you watch Week in Review, you'll see that as an example that I give. Is there's a bunch of examples there because I recorded that last night because of holidays as well. So everything is in the past, but yeah, they just don't do it that way. It may not make sense to do it that way, but every other game that I play kind of has that. They do like an expansion with the storyline, but they also tie in new stuff that you could do. So maybe that's probably what he means here is every time they do an update, it's like a little expansion to the game, maybe is what he's saying.
Yeah, like, well, like, so imagine, once again, 4.1 may not be like this, but as a theory craft, I guess, 4.1, engineering comes out, fire comes out, all that stuff, right? Well, you can very easily sort of tie, well, not very easily, but you can tie some sort of like story path into that, where the missions that we know are getting worked on that involve some of these mechanics can be used as a way to sort of beef up the patch and turn it into a bit more of an expansion, right? As everyone jumps in, they go to do the missions, they go to experience the content. It is an inevitability for CIG to move towards that model because eventually, you know, 1.0's out. We have all the features that we talked about 1.0. We have main story quests.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. Well, how do you introduce new systems? And then presumably also new features with those systems. It's like, yeah, you do it exactly like not just every MMO, like every video game with an expansion really has done it in the past, rather than here is a patch that is core tech.
Yeah, I mean, Rare Aesthetic in Twitch chat says, waiting for a lore and narrative to be added. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, slow down. Is it not lore enough for you to take a bounty mission in Star Citizen, but it's just labeled a different name, and it just says in the flare text that ship that you're killing has weapons on it, but when you kill them, there's no weapons on it at all, and it was just completely empty? Is that not good enough for you? Is that not narrative?
Top-notch lore, rather.
Yeah, like that's the stuff that drives me mad.
I love the narrative team every time they're on
they're the coolest
ISC or
people.
an SEL and stuff, and they're
so
creative. They have some great ideas, and I really want them to get their claws into like the missions and into a path. So
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying
no, of course not. Yeah.
I'm saying they're not giving them enough support. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I want those guys to cook and do their thing, right? So, yeah, we want voice lines. We want we want that kind of I want to be grounded in the world that Star Citizen's created. There's no denying how beautiful it looks. Now tell me the story of it, right? Tell me, why do I care? What is Daymar? What is Yellow? Tell me, and don't tell me through a Mobiglass app text. Tell me, make me feel it, right? So I hope we get that one day.
Like, that's the thing. This 4.0 server meshing is the next blocker. Like, does actually feel like a thing in this particular regard, because it's like you can now give the mission team, the narrative team, sort of a bit more, not a bit more work. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to say. Like, you can start focusing on variations of missions, variations of narratives. Mission givers can become more of a priority again, because super back-end tech systems aren't going to be changing as much for the
contested zones future. Are kind of a good example of this, where each location
by the way,
is.
Can we just talk on contested zones right now?
Please.
So I finally got to experience like a full proper contested zone, every single contested zone. Oh, he did it. He did it, chat. He was prepared for everything else.
2 weeks in a row. I think it was 3 weeks. I was good.
Yeah. We spent 8 hours on day one doing just contested zones. They worked perfectly. Everything went great. We got the stuff. It felt like this really cool thing. And it's just like, what a hats off to the level designers. They've done such a good job with all those contested zones. The only complaint I do have, we were in a full server of it was 500 people at the time. It was like 512, something like that. We saw no PvP, and then pretty much the entire night we did it, we saw no PvP. There's probably a couple of reasons for that, but that's just like a little bit of a tidbit of like, I already feel like 500 isn't enough to fill out these spaces, and I kind of want it to be far more.
But I get the opposite experience, so it might be like time you're playing, but
possibly. I think it also probably has to do a lot with the fact that day one people don't have a lot of money, which means they don't have a lot of weapons or armor to spare. It's just like all sub gear for the most part.
Yeah.
But it was still just an absolutely insane experience, and I want to see more of that. These teams that have been making those contested zones, whatever sort of designs they do, need to be smashing stuff out now that 4.0 is out.
Yeah, but each zone is giving like a vibe, which is cool. Because like one's Xeno Threat, one's the Fire Rats, and the other one, I forgot the name, but
so it's Fire Rats, Xeno Threat, and Horizon.
Yeah, I don't know who Horizon is or anything about them.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they're like fully brand new. They might have been mentioned once in a Galactopedia. Someone in chat, let me know.
Yeah, maybe there's information. Astropub, where is he? I'm sure he knows. But the visually the Fire Rats location is super awesome, right? That was the first one I ever saw, and it was like, okay, yeah, they're cooking here as far as that goes. But they have so much opportunity to go even further with like better wild lines and I don't know, comms over radio or whatever. Like you could definitely get more of a vibe for who these people are and what they do. Gotta say, the rewards are just amazing. We've talked about them for weeks now, but now that you're live and you're competing against other people, it feels so much more important, I guess, to actually get the stuff. You know what I've been doing? I've been going naked into Ghost Arena, looting an NPC, killing players, looting them, and just like going from complete, like scavving in Tarkov, basically, just going complete scav runs, and it's been really it's been really fun. It's so hard though, because everyone is going in full Morozov kits, and you're just
even with the issues that we are having today, the AI have been pretty damn good, at least in my experience.
You're coming out with injuries.
Ambushed. Like I came around a corner, there was one NPC behind a piece of cover, leaning out to shoot me.
Yep.
There was another one behind him, behind a higher piece of cover, leaning over the top to shoot me. I ran in, got obliterated, ran back out with like all these injuries.
Yep.
I was like, oh God, that was a great experience. I love that. I've never had that before in Starset.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
But also, like, another reason why contested zones are probably a little quiet, the people who play this game regularly are not built for that level of pain. Like and on day one, there was probably a lot more PvP than people were used to. And I mean, I know on the first day, like when I was going in there, we were beating up on people pretty bad, and it had to have been pretty frustrating, right? So, and demoralizing, and it just is what it is. Like, some of the content's made for some people and it's not made for others, and I consider that a good thing. I saw a lot of people complain about rewards and stuff like that only being there, and dude, there's so many good components that you could still buy in the shops. It's really not that big of a deal, so I don't know.
I honestly think my biggest want to continue to do contested zones right now is tweaker mods, because oh man, those tweaker mods are insane. There was like
what gun did you put them on that blew your mind? Because there's some crazy stuff
in the I want to say it's in Ruin Station. It's obviously one of the contested zones, but I think it's Ruin Station. There's a lot of Kanas that spawn in those big weapon boxes, like the ones that are like laid out, and they all have a tweaker compensator. And it's just a laser beam. It just there's no recoil. It's absolutely insane. It makes it crazy. So yeah, I'm mostly now looking for other tweaker mods, but that one just by itself, I was like, no, I need this. I need to collect like dozens of these for just any time I'm doing any FPS combat now, right? Like that is more important to me than the components. Maybe not as important as the ship reward at the end, but yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, dude, the what gun okay, so you have the P8 AR, which is pay to win kind of weapon. It's really good. And you can only have gotten it if you bought the CitizenCon package for now. Hopefully it'll be in game soon. Obviously the previous CitizenCon package, you can now get that dead rig weapon in the game. I love the dead rig personally, but you can't put any attachments on that one. Now, the P8, you could put the tweaker on. It is a laser beam. It's wild. The S71, you could put the tweaker on. It's a laser beam. It's wild. Like it's the first time in Star Citizen outside of quantum drives that I have attached something to something and felt the actual upgrade. And and the difference here is I only got it by playing the game. I didn't get it by just logging in. I have 100K on my account to start because of whatever reason, I guess the ships that I have. And then
it'll be ships you have and referral rewards,
Yeah, there you go. And I just buy the best components for my first ship and I'm good to go. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's also like
cool.
I'm scared of losing it, which I love. I'm scared of losing my tweaker my tweaker attachments. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent about the contested zones, but I just had to touch on it because like it is the big gameplay feature of the patch, and it just felt so good. And that's made me really, really excited for the future of Star Citizen, just in like multiple ways.
I have not gotten a ship. I have not gotten a single key yet. I don't care.
Okay, yeah.
I'm keeping it. It's gonna be there for a while, and I'm kind of saving it for like, maybe like I will never do a 0 to hero so long as there's the lack of gameplay systems in the game currently. But I have an idea for something that I want to do in the future that's somewhat similar, I guess. Because there's no hero in Star Citizen. You just play, right? you just play.
That's the thing. You could have an end goal of hero, which is the ship that you get at the at the thing. So
yeah, exactly.
There is kind of an end goal in regards to that.
True. I didn't think of it that way. I tried to do like a full I was talking to Burks and a couple other people about doing like a full no ship, like get it through the contested zones, but you have to fly to the other contested zones, so you need a ship. So yeah.
I was gonna say start in prison. Prison's not in a great spot right now.
Oh yeah.
Extremely bugged. Don't go to prison, guys.
No, yeah, and by don't go to prison, a lot of people like to do the unverified missions in Stanton to make money. Don't do that right now. Big warning. Do not do that right now. If you go to prison, you are permanently in prison. You cannot get out. There is maybe a workaround. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, there's workarounds that are completely inconsistent. So it's like you'll be trying the workaround for hours to get out. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's just so there's it's a mess.
Yeah.
But it's a better mess than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I have to give, regardless, I have to give the first 24 hours credit, because during it, I was literally saying this is the best live release they've ever had. That has since changed, but it could also change tomorrow. It's a very quick, like, changing thing with all these hot fixes and whatnot. And to the point that it almost felt like they didn't need to do the soft launch. I am now happy that they did it.
I won't. Yeah, for sure. And I won't say it's the best live release they've ever had. They've definitely had smoother and better ones. But in the last, like, since they've really been pushing on the PU, I would agree. Like, since 3.18, right? Like since they've really been pushing to push the game to where we are now, 600 players, all that kind of stuff, is I'd 100% agree. Like, I'm pretty sure like 3.7 was like the best release of all time. But there's nothing. But there's nothing in it, right? So like considering
and it was wiping every month or whatever.
Exactly, right? Like considering all the stuff we have now, I absolutely agree there. That's really it on Letter for the Chairman.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of touched
kind of 4.0
and 4.0.
Like, obviously, a lot of the like proper opinions on 4.0 are going to come over this Christmas break while everyone's on holiday, and see how the servers can perform. When there's no, like, I know hot fixes are making some servers worse right now, but when there's no hot fixes coming, things could get like just 10 times worse. So we'll have to, our first one back, we'll have to talk about that in the new year.
Yeah, or they can have one that actually works. One of the hot fixes that fix things. So fingers crossed. The next thing on my list is the Mirai Guardian. Have you used it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot how much happened this week. Guardian came out, as well as the Guardian QI, because 4.0 came out. I love it. I am a Mirai fanboy, though, to be fair, because I absolutely loved the Fury, and then obviously they put me in the Fury LX commercial, so I'm contractually obligated to enjoy the Fury LX. But I like it. It's pretty cool. The interior is like nice enough for me to like not like live in as a ship. I mean, you never really expect heavy fighters to be like that, but it's at least got some amenities that are kind of nice. The ad that's playing right now is kind of funny. The like 2 Mirai ads we've had beforehand. So for the Fury and the Fury LX, the regular Fury, it was just like, here's some cool shots of the Fury flying around. Fury LX, it was like, here's some stuff from, real races in the verse. And then this one is like, I'm going to murder you. It's just a really interesting like pace of like tone and stuff, which is kind of interesting.
It was very bounty hunter-y and that kind of stuff. But the vibe right now is this thing kind of sucks and it's not very good. Yeah. And that's the feel I got for it. You sound like you agree. So
yeah, I do, but that's not sort of for me. Heavy fighters, I'm more just for, hey, I just want to do some like PvE bounties, and this will kill all the vast majority of PvE bounties that you'll be able to kill with any other heavy fighter. So I've got no issues with it there necessarily.
Yeah, I say this in Weekend Review too. Remind me about this release than when they release like the next OP
like
ship.
An objectively better ship.
Yeah, that's better than everything else, right? Like this is not the I have to have it. You're still flying the F7A and things like that, right? Like those are still absolutely on that list, and that's it. And this is just not on that list for a lot of people. And I imagine it's going to get tuned. It just doesn't feel as maneuverable as they say it is in the question and answer threads and things like that. So it just doesn't feel that way to me. It is cool, and
Yeah.
I think they made a decent amount of money on it, but I don't think they made enough money to warrant pushing out 4.0 in a rush job just to sell this. And again, I don't think they pushed out 4.0 just to sell this. I think this was just a small component of it.
Year deadline type of thing.
Yeah. Get it done, get it out the door. Yep. Camaraderie. We did it. All right. Enjoy your break, you know. That's what I think it was.
Haven't done it yet, but I'm keen to chuck some 85Bs on it instead of the cannons that come with it, and just kind of enjoy the ballistics with it. We'll see where it lands later on. You can sort of see where in the future the potential balancing for it could go, but at the moment it's just kind of outgunned.
Yeah, because they even talked about that in the Q&As for not just the Guardian, but also the Paladin. No, it wasn't just that. It was also, I can't remember, but Yogi also mentioned something around the Ares Ion. Like, these are all kind of, not the Paladin, but the Guardian, the Ion, and other heavy kind of fighters are, they're talking about these big guns being meaningful when armor comes in, because bigger equals more penetration. And so that's kind of their idea there, but it's hard for us to sit here and go, that's going to be super fun if we haven't tried it yet and things like that. Like, I fully expect our first test preview to be engineering, like you talked about. Engineering, armor, the changes to the Ion, and see what is said there. I see chat reacting to something I said as if I guess it was innuendo-y. I don't know. But yeah, it's that's what I expect to see. I really look forward to seeing like the Inferno, the Ion, and but more importantly, like the Gladius go up to a constellation and just be shrugged off a little bit more than the Ares Ion would be, right? And it's just not about pure damage. It's also about this other element. It would be interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I agree.
All right. What do you want to do now, since this is a little bit of a different show? We had, all right, all this 4.0 stuff happens, but since you're not here next week, right? So if we were going to do a 2025 predictions, it has to be this week. You want to go into that?
It could be first week of Jan, honestly. Because what I wouldn't mind, we should have organized before. But what I wouldn't mind doing is like a 2024 retrospective.
Let's do that instead.
Do a look back on the great year with no issues that we had, and all of the awesome things that came with it. Because like it's important, just in any regards, in anything in life, to sort of look back at the recent stuff, right?
Fair enough. Let's do that instead, and then the first week we could do predictions, because we're gonna be zero content for the next month and a half. Weeks, so it probably makes sense.
I will say, if you're a caller and you like wanted to do predictions, still do it. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get plenty over the course. So
sure. What do we start at? What was the patch that we started the year with? 321.
At the end of 2023, everyone was high off CitizenCon. We had our Pyro playtest, and hey, look, we're back in there now.
Still playtesting.
But yeah, and then it was, hey, this is going to be 323. This is going to be the patch, right? So I'm actually getting up the roadmap now so I can make sure I've got all the right details.
You know what? Let me do
this is going to be 323. It is going to have 1 billion features. It's going to have everything from CitizenCon. It's going to be massive, right?
Also,
we did get 322.
Not just everything from CitizenCon. It was also all these guys from Squadron are coming over. Things are going to move a lot faster, so on and so forth. Our first patch was released in May 2024.
Yes. So we were living high off that dream. And it was also, if you remember, every week was like, hey guys, we've added these 6 features to 323. Here's like some other cool news. Here's an ISC about awesome stuff. It was just like back to back to back to back.
There was here's an event. There was always something. If it wasn't to play, there was something to discuss until about June or July is when they were like, whoop, we didn't hit our scheduled deadlines at all, and now I don't know what to do. Like Jared's
I mean,
situation.
we can even come a little bit further back than
Oh,
that.
for sure,
Once we ended up in 323 PTU, once again, this huge Jesus patch almost, like it was just so many features. A bunch of things got cut from it, / delayed. Namely everything that came out in 324. So
yeah,
freight elevators, storage, instance hangars, the cargo missions, all of those got pushed back a little bit further.
So essentially 323 released on August 28th, 2024.
Yeah.
And we only had one patch.
322.5 came out in May. And I do want to just talk on 323. It was still a big deal. We got the new UI. We got maps. They were in an awkward state. They've gotten a lot better since. We got the
I use them regularly
centers.
now. Think about map, like you're in a contested zone. Oh, there's my exit. Yeah, let me go this way.
Yeah.
So like you may think the release of 323 was bad, but look at the impact it has on you now, right?
Yep.
Like there is that. Distro centers, I'm still skeptical about.
I still rate them highly, though they clearly ended up being a bit of content that a lot of the community didn't care as much about.
Do you know why I rate them low?
Go ahead.
They're a distribution center, and we don't buy and sell commodities from them.
Yeah, they feel like they should be more industrial focused.
Yes, and they are the opposite, and it's just that bothers me.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. But I still think they are a great tool for them to introduce more content, and I'm kind of disappointed we don't see any variation of them in Pyro. So hopefully in the future we'll see something.
Sure.
We got creatures was introduced in 323. All of the fauna, once again, not like the content on fauna, not super interesting. But I think a lot of that honestly just comes down to the fact that they didn't make a lot of money. Like people I think would have been absolutely fawning over these missions if the Copian horns were worth anything, if the Marok gullets were worth anything. Because it is quite cool.
I'm fine with it. I'm so fine with it being that way, because just like the maps, they just haven't done what they need to do yet to make those what they I say it every week. It's those are for crafting. Then it's golden, right? Then you're going to a certain biome to look for the Copian horn, or you're going to a certain. I got to bring up the sneak peek. Did you see the sneak peek?
I think I did.
No, you would be freaking out.
It's a new cow, right?
Yeah, but
it's a new cow with like a weird head.
Yeah, it's like super duper alien. Hold on. Let me change scene so I can bring it up. So like, I don't know. I could see people not being mega excited over that now, but for me, just like the maps and just like a few other things, the idea behind what some of this means in the longer term, I guess, is very cool.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
look at this thing.
Those are some dope horns.
It's also
a lot of fur too.
Blue milk.
Wait, yeah, it doesn't have eggs. I didn't realize it didn't have eggs.
Blue milk.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. So it's
Zach, what are you doing?
Yeah. So this is cool. I just look at this as, that kind of narrative thing that we were looking for. These are the type of things that ground you in the game a little bit. Like, all right, if I'm looking for this, I know where I'm going. I know, and you just go there and you experience it. I love that about video games, and I love that
for sure.
Whatever we're, are we cutting this thing up for its meat, for its milk, for its horns, for whatever those things are on its neck, right? Yeah. Can we ride it? Somebody said yes. New mounts. True. So like whatever reasons you're going here for, it'll be much more impactful later. And you do have to, when you see some of the changes that they've made over the year, that are starting to have an impact on you now, you do have to respect some of the things that don't currently have an impact on you very much, right?
Yep.
So
so like one of the things I wanted to mention about the Copian specifically that came out in 323 is now we see Copians appearing in like contested zones
and
in
they
the
fuck you up.
asteroid. They will mess you up.
Yeah.
But the important thing about them is it's a nice change of pace from always just shooting guys with guns.
Yep.
You've got other threats to worry about. So them having that gameplay in there means we get all that sort of stuff. So it's awesome. Another good one, before I start talking about some features in 323 that didn't go great this year, I think, and we'll obviously talk about that. But one of the good ones is they started doing the experimental modes a bit more, and we got the engineering experimental mode. So we got to see earlier this year a lot about what they wanted to do with engineering. From what I could tell, other than a few people, pretty well received in terms of the idea of the mechanic.
Ooh, I think it's the opposite. Like just
Really?
Generally from my comment section it's very much the opposite. People aren't, I don't think they're receiving it poorly, but they are very skeptical or scared of the impact that it may have on their fun. There is still this incredible fear of I'm going to have to be putting out fires all the time. So they're never going to calm those fears without it being in game and people seeing that it's not going to be so bad. It reminds me a lot of the food and drink coming into the game, which I do believe is somewhat annoying. That's another thing that we can talk about quickly. Did you fill out your survey this
I did.
thing?
I feel like I probably did it too early because there's a lot of pyro questions though.
Yeah, I think it did a little too early for pyro too, so it's going to be skewed. But I think you could do it a couple times, right, on different characters. Maybe, I don't know.
Probably, and it's continuing until like late January, I think. So
yeah, so I wonder if I can go back and change a couple of mine, but
possibly.
Especially on the food one, is I'm noticing that I'm having to drink more than I used to, and I don't know, pyro's hot or cold or something like that, but it's getting kind of annoying.
Sprinting around a lot in the heavy armor.
Perhaps, yeah, it's getting kind of annoying, but outside of that, it's that's something that people were super mega scared of, and it didn't end up being that impactful, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Another big feature that came in 323 that I think was a good mechanic and looks nice, but tends to have lots of issues was the new loot screen. So, and I'll even extend this to later features in 324.
Yep.
Where when we got freight elevators, we had the new cargo and the new inventory system. Everything around inventory changed a lot this year, and some stuff made it prettier, but not necessarily easier for the player, which was like a kind of a miss.
Well, it can be easier for the player. It's so like the idea that you press one button, like the idea of it works. The implementation of it has been absolute trash.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that you walk up to a body and just press F quickly. That's not happening in the game anymore because the icon doesn't show up consistently and it's really annoying, right? That's number one. Then the loot screen opens up and you're like, oh, he has med pens. All you're supposed to do is left click and it instantly goes on your character. It does not instantly go on your character. You're left clicking 35 times and then it will go to your character, right? How do I get their armor? Oh, I have to press this tiny little button that's this big to get to the armor side of the screen. And it's just inconsistent, unoptimized trash in terms of the experience. It's server lag, bro, is what somebody just pressed in chat.
It's not server lag.
I love it. You must work at CIG.
Sometimes it might be, but
you must work. You must work at CIG because all they've done is blame all their horrible implementations on the servers. And guess what I've had the entire time that I was playing on the server? This entire week. 30 FPS, consistent, never lower. You cannot blame the servers anymore. That is the best feature of 4.0. Is that every single developer that has been blaming their bugs on servers can no longer blame them on servers. It's your fault. Fix it. Well, it's not your fault, but it is. It's it's you can't number one, when servers are up longer, the bugs tend to show themselves.
Yes.
And so now you should be able to go, you don't blame it on that anymore, and you can look at your code and go, all right, here's where the problem is, where they were always just blaming it on the servers before. Incredibly annoying. And now you can't do that. So get wrecked. But great for us. We're going to see a lot of bug fixes in 2025, I think. And
same. I agree.
Bugs that stay fixed, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip a lot of features, but there were a lot of features in 3.23 and 3.24. But the biggest one for the majority of people, instance hangers and freight elevators, has obviously drastically changed how you play the game.
They may not like it, but it's most impactful.
It's true, especially with the cargo missions. But it has immediately changed how people play the game. Mike, how do you think the implementation of that was? Because
absolute trash.
I have terrible experiences with freight elevators for so much of this year. The instant hangers, less so, and I do think they made the experience much better overall. And I would love to hear from a new player.
You haven't played today.
No, I haven't played today.
That is good. One of the key issues with 4.0 right now is instance hangers. You're literally in somebody else's hangar and you can't call your own ships and stuff. It's a disaster. So outside of today, you would be right.
Yeah, and what I was specifically getting at though with the instant hangers is there's at least when I play the game now, I have much more feel of ownership over my ships.
Yes.
Just the way that instant hangers work. And the way that your hangar works, especially your home hangar. And so I'd love to hear from a new player, like, what all of us have been playing for too long. What did it feel like when you got your first ship, up out of the bottom of the instance hangar? How did it feel? How has it changed your perception of the game? Because I feel like it's weirdly one of the most impactful parts of the game that we maybe don't experience that often because, we've already done it a bunch of times.
I don't know. I'm just reading a chatter being a jerk, so I got distracted. The instance hangers were communicated in one way and delivered in another. Like they showed, I can build my home in my hangar. No, you can't. Right? My stuff disappears all the time. Oh, I left my ship here. I logged out. I logged back. It's gone. Like none of
because they don't grav lock. They fly all around.
Yeah,
the place
it's like they did not communicate that at all. So no. All right, I need to stop reading chat. I'm not reading chat. I'm not reading chat. I'm not reading chat because I'm about to rage. It's stop. Just stop. You're wrong. I'm right.
We also obviously have all the 4.0 stuff, but we've been talking about that. The last big sort of question I want to throw out to you, Mike, about this year in retrospective. How do you think communication in general has been from CIG? I love some spicy questions. And do you think it's improved?
No. I still anything from the community team I've not enjoyed in the last couple of years, and that includes SCL. ISC improved leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I know Jared's not on the community team, by the way, but
just communication. Anything that CIG have put out there, really.
Yeah, I don't. No, not at all. Like this was the year that we saw Jared saying this is going to be a watershed year and the blah blah blah, and it's been a lot of miscommunication, I would say, is how I feel, but also better in some ways. Like we've seen a lot of developers just pop on Spectrum and just let us know what's happening, and as many people are frustrated with master modes, man, Yogi's putting himself out there every day and letting us know what's going on with certain features and stuff like that. Guys like Zach too. Elliot sometimes. Elliot's more on Reddit and
in people's Twitch chats being a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then so it's yes, but no. I'm more curious your thoughts on it because
so
I'm typically just annoyed with them.
Yeah, this year was when they actually talked about the failure of 3.18, right? They did that big post. I believe it was this year, like start of this year.
Oh, Benoit was a
Yeah,
huge.
Benoit's been fantastic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, it was cool to sort of see them say, "Hey, this was bad." In addition, they did the post where they were saying, "Hey, we would have preferred if 323, like if the hangar update and the cargo update was actually like together and was one big patch rather than like split among these ways." I like that they're able to acknowledge that sort of stuff, and we've seen a lot more of that this year. So I do think the communication has improved. Keep doing it. If you don't keep doing it, that is a huge disservice. And even do it a little bit more. I don't think you're going to lose a crap ton of funding if there is a, very, very short post on Spectrum tomorrow.
Exactly.
Saying like, hey guys, we know that there's been a lot of issues. We're probably not going to be able to get to them. We're, like this is just the world that it's going to be, and we're going to knuckle down in end of January, start of February for whatever to do X, Y, Z. Just like very small sort of things that they could do a little bit more. But yeah, the large post that they've done this year, I've really enjoyed. So I think that's been great. And honestly, to a lesser extent, but it's still kind of cool that they did this year in regards to communication, was the IAE posts and having them actually be about game content. It's like, cool, here are these IAE videos that normally it's just a joke that we've got
like an in-game convention.
Yeah, we've just got the in-game convention that's a total meme, but like, no, they're actually like, all right, we're also going to get these two devs to talk about actual gameplay intentions that we're trying to do over the next year. And Sitcom was a month before that. Like, they didn't necessarily have to do it that far, like that quickly after it. So
maybe because Sitcom was not about the present or the anywhere near future this time, and the and IAE was a little bit more about the present. I got marketed so hard with the IAE thing, dude.
Yeah.
What is the misc fortune? What is the misc fortune? I must know. I must know. So yeah, it's yeah. I think from that extent, yeah, you're probably right.
I think it was better, but it doesn't mean that there's nowhere for them to continue to learn how to communicate a little bit better to the people playing the game right now.
Yeah, and I have some personal issues with the way some things were handled.
Sure.
With CIG and Jared and things like that. So I'll keep those to myself because they have nothing to do with anybody but me. But the idea of I don't know, just this year and I think you would agree with me on this, is they seem more disconnected isn't the right word. What is the word when they're like so like involved in themselves they can't see outside of themselves and what's actually happening?
I guess distracted would be the word you're looking for, I guess.
No, out of touch. That's this year I got the vibe that they're completely out of touch with the community until more towards the end of the year.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, I feel like for like some of the ways that like some of the gameplay in 4.0 feels like they know exactly like what at least I want, right?
4.0 is in touch,
and Sitcon
323 was out of touch.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Maybe tunnel vision might be a good way, yeah. But
the phrase I was looking for was out of touch, though, because there's been a lot of moments of remember the economy discussions around, you're going to make 4,000 credits for this cargo run. And we're like, buddy, no, that's just like, no, never. Right. Because the out of touch from the people who play the game versus the people who make it and what they think are going to be fun. That's the out of touch that I'm talking about. Right. And then the excuse to the player base who's like, very obviously like, hey, this is dumb. We're giving you the feedback now. Use it. Take advantage of it. And they don't. And then it's the rollback later where we are now, where we're making 50K per entry-level cargo run. Hello, we were there 6 months ago, buddy. So it's like,
to touch on that as well, I would also love to say, make these like feedback forms like quarterly.
Yeah,
I love that you asked me those questions because those are questions
all
about
the time
things.
too.
They do it a ton of time. They give you rewards as well with like they give you like 50 plex or something, like the small plex.
Yep.
But yeah, like do more of that. I imagine the data has got to be useful in some way. I'm sure there's tons of reasons that it's probably not useful, but something has to be able to be sort of like construed from there for you guys to continue to make the game better. And yeah, all of the questions felt relevant. So
yeah,
do more
for
of that.
Sure.
That was a good start. That's all I have for like in-year retrospective that we can fit in today's podcast.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a lot of other stuff to talk about this year. So I imagine we'll be talking about that forever until we forget that 2024 existed.
For sure. But I guess we're going to callers. I would say we have all the callers we need for today. And we'll keep you guys around 5 minutes. So just try and be on topic, whatever your topic is, right? Just don't try to go too crazy. Our first caller, though, is AnActualCannibal. And first time caller, I believe, as well. I don't recognize the name, at least.
How you doing, Cannibal?
It would be cool if the name showed up on the screen. There we go. Cannibal, can you hear us?
You there, Cannibal?
AFK?
Yeah, no, give me a sec.
Oh.
You're a baby.
Yeah, it's the holidays.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting, if you ever want to call in to the Answer the Call show, you can go right now in Twitch and go !podcast, follow the link. If you are on YouTube, I forgot to get the link, so I will get that now.
Someone in chat said, "Don't eat the baby."
Okay.
What? AnActualCannibal.
Oh, I'm stupid. Look, I'm tired. It's hot.
Whoosh. Probably come back to me later.
All right, no problem.
No worries. All good.
We'll put you back 2 people. All right, so I'll put him in 2. I'm going to bring Pakila in, and I'm going to put Doc here.
Pakila. How you doing?
Not bad.
All right. What do you got for us today, Pakila?
Okay. Right. Help me out. Help me out here.
Help you out?
I feel like I'm getting gaslighted by this game. Okay.
You are being gaslit by this game, 100%.
I have people telling me, "Whoa, new planet, new shit, new feature, new constellation zone," and I look into the game, I feel actual depression. Like the depression lead my character to drive. I just fly straight to the planet, and I auto-fall because I don't know how to play this game anymore, and I feel gaslighted. Like, oh, okay.
Just don't fall through the planet.
Yeah.
Where are the new features? Like, I struggle to find them. I know they exist, okay, but I just don't know how to get to them. And
they don't exist. Who's telling you that? What new features?
How the fuck are you guys making new fucking YouTube video weekly if there's new fucking features?
I don't. I don't.
Yeah, I made one video 2 months ago, and I haven't made it since then. What are you talking about?
I just do the weekly news video of what happened. That's it.
But also, I will straight up say, skill issue, Pakila. There is so much new stuff to do in Pyro. I don't care what anyone says. There are so many new things.
What new things?
There is contested zones.
Okay,
there is new minables, and mining is in different locations. The new missions are all in different locations and are more interesting locations as well. So you've actually got different challenges there. If you want to, go PvP to your heart's content. There is stuff to do in Pyro. At least for the first 3 days.
Okay,
I gotta jump in on the new missions. They are old ass missions, and they are the same ones. The only difference is that they did a better job of condensing missions into a given area. If you've noticed, like I could do missions
so you can see other people doing the other missions too.
There's like a main hub. And then there's all these side hubs that you do missions in the near area, so you don't have to like go around. But they are literally the same kill quests and fetch quests that we've been doing forever, Croncy. They are not new missions.
They're so much better. They're so much better.
No. I'm dying on this hill. That is crazy. And even in Chris Roberts' letter for the chairman, they had to take 90% of the missions out. All the missions are gone. They literally took them out because they didn't work with the rework. So no. There's no way you're right on that one. Nope.
Preach, brother. Preach.
He doesn't get it. Pakila, you haven't even been to Pyro.
I did.
He
for
fell through the planet.
30 minutes. That's
He's
all
been in Pyro.
It's all it takes for me to feel depression. Like I got to a point where I started to question myself. Okay, do I just get old and I don't like play video game anymore? But then I realized that literally just few hours ago I was having fun in another game. And 2 days ago, I was having fun in another game. That's not that game I just mentioned. So I have fun in 2 games, but somehow I just cannot feel fun in quadruple A video game anymore. Like, what's going on here? What am I missing? Am I out of touch?
It's not a game. This is the thing that I feared with the 4.0 connotation on 4.0 in particular. Is the people were going to come in expecting it to be this like new expansion to Star Citizen, and it's
they
just
market
not.
it like that. They did it themselves.
Yeah, they do it to
fucking
themselves.
poor commercial.
I'm okay. I am also confused though, Pakila. What features did you expect to be in 4.0 that they like it's been known what was going to be in 4.0 for a while now?
And you're around enough that you should know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also before I answer that question, I had to say this first. Why should I be the fucking person to figure that out? The video game maker should surprise me with new features. I should jump into new extension and say, "Wow, this new shit is cool." Like, and I fucking.
Sorry, no. Didn't you just say that they posted an ad? The ad had those features in it.
Well, I wasn't mentioning. I wasn't talking about ad, but in the ad, they just shoot stuff and they show the new planet. That's it.
Well, they also say like jump points, and they talk about.
There's no way you just ship jump point as a gameplay. You literally just go through a hole.
Do you not think jump points? Not. This is just not a serious call at this stage.
Jump points aren't gameplay, but they are cool as shit. Okay, yes and no. Like, I'll give an example. Their Wake of Disaster is back, in case people don't know. In Pyro, it's a bad. There's problems with it. It's not perfect, but it's there. And what's cool is the stuff that you get in Wake of Disaster. The best place to sell it is in Stanton. So the idea of going from Pyro, doing those missions to Stanton yesterday was, bar none, the coolest thing I've done in 4.0 yet. I really enjoyed it. Like, it was intense. It was intense. But yeah, it is gameplay, but it's not.
Yeah,
not
just
gameplay.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, but also, but also, like, this was always going to be the thing. It's 4.0 is about server meshing and nothing else. Can you feel that there's 600 players in the server?
No.
I can.
Really?
Yeah, I
can. Definitely can. Also, I will say everyone on chat is shitting me, and I do see you YouTube commenters as well. And fair, I'll concede. Anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
To be
Someone
fair,
just had to delete their YouTube comment.
Finally right.
Star Citizen, right? Most of the people just jiggling around on my screen, and I just filter them out, like, mentally. So it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 person squeezing in the elevator, maybe I will notice them. But so far, I'm not really feeling the benefit of having more people other than more stuff jiggling on my screen, like a fucking NPC.
I don't know. I just had like, while doing missions, I would have random PvP encounters, and like that just doesn't happen in the 100-player server. Like, you can go days without ever seeing somebody outside of, like, walking around in a city location. Like, yeah. So what you saw in 324 is mostly abandoned ships. What you're seeing in Pyro is more unabandoned ships.
Yep.
So
I had, once again, just a great experience on day one. I went to, I think it's Trawler's Beach on Pyro 4, is one of those hubs that you were talking about, Mike, where it's like you just do a bunch of missions in this like sort of 10-kilometer radius. I was doing some FPS missions there and saw, over the course of maybe 30 minutes, like 20 different ships in the area doing missions at the same, not the exact same location, but around me.
In the hub,
and it scared the crap out of me, and I loved that.
That's the first example of the thing that they're talking about at CitizenCon, I think, is adding more locations. Like this was one thing with all these spokes that you were going to and stuff like that. But Pakila, before we let you go, is there any like final things you want to say? Stuff like that?
I don't know. I'm mentally exhausted about this game. That's pretty much all I can
Then
say.
put it down. Put it down for
that's
a
the
long
problem.
time.
I put it down for 2 years already. How long? How long am I gonna wait?
You had the whole you put it down for 2 years because this was the thing that never came out, and they just put it out without anything on top of it. Come on in 6 months and yell at me. My hope, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but my hope is that in 6 months there might actually be something decent to do. I don't know what you like in games or whatever, but my hope is the only copium that I had in this game was that they were going to finally get over this server meshing hump and then start making the game. They never were going to make the game until they got past this. Now it's the balls in their court. I am going to be way more. You think I'm bad now? I'm going to be way more critical of what they're doing after this. So,
famous floodgate. Yeah, this seems 6 months.
No, I'm not saying floodgates are opening, but it better not be this
like
boring.
See if it is gameplay focused content that they are creating in 6 months. See if it's shifted.
Yeah.
All right, fair. Good conversation. I love you too. Goodbye.
I love you. Be good, Pakila.
Right, cheers, Pakila.
He's literally one of my favorite people in the world. Cursed way too much in that call. We're gonna get hit by YouTube for sure.
Yeah,
but
I had to start talking so we wouldn't.
So he stopped cursing. But yeah. So next caller is Doc, and we'll get to Doc, and then hopefully Cannibal will be ready to go after that.
Hopefully, Dr. Introvertsius, how you doing?
Hello. I'm not too bad. All things being said about 4.0, it's a bit of a mixed bag of experiences.
So start out with of the mixed bag to transition from Pakila's call. Start out with your favorite things.
Ooh, my favorite thing.
Things. Hopefully, he said thing. Oh no.
Thing. Okay, so that's really funny. So you know how in 4.0 ships have like tags on them now? If you spawn them, they have like a tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if a ship has a name on it, like I think there's a handful of ships you can actually assign like a name to.
MSR, Reclaimer, 890.
I have an MSR that I named, and I forgot about this name that I picked.
What was the name?
Spawn. It was an Alex Jones meme that I made. It was an Alex. Can't remember the name, but I have a screenshot. It's really funny, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Mine are all variations of scam.
Yeah. So I just pull up the ship and I see that name, and I'm like, I forgot I did this. And yes, so like if anyone sees that ship, that's all they'll see first is that name.
Yeah.
And I just find that really funny.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. They used to always have IDs, but the IDs would normally only show up like after soft death or on scan. Whereas now it's
or if you're out of the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like there was a time where this was this isn't actually a new thing. It was here and then it went away and now it's back. Yeah. I always like the idea of this kind of is I always wanted the ship to be what comes up. Like it's very sci-fi or just very IRL. I don't know how to say it, but when you communicate to ships, it's the name of the ship. You're not talking to the name of the captain that is flying that ship, right? So, like remember the can't. You're not saying the pilot that died or whatever. So that's kind of what, their transponder number is what you see, but then you can also have the name of it. But I've liked the idea of that. And then you scan to find out who the pilot is or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Mike, you should have a screenshot in your Discord.
Oh, I
PMs?
can't
Oh,
show it. I could show it on my phone. Hold on.
yeah.
I could put it up to the screen because if I open my Discord DMs, it would remove Croncy from the screen.
Yeah. I don't know how it'll look on your phone on stream, but that's the name that.
Oh my god.
Yep.
It's a funnier. It's a funnier meme
owned
now.
by the Onion.
Yep. If anyone's listening like audio only because you have YouTube Premium or something like that, it's the UEES Infowars.com. So yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yep.
Nope. I got to look at what mine are. I'm actually going to.
I don't have any ships that can be named, and I'm really disappointed that they said it was like recent. It was like within the last few weeks that like it is on the back burner of names for ships.
Yeah. Sag.
So other than that, I don't really have any things for next year.
How'd you
What
feel
about
about this
2024?
year overall? Yeah, since we kind of changed.
Yeah, 2024 was a bit of a strange year because they called it like a big year, but it's like, I don't want to sound bad, but it wasn't. It half kind of was not a big year. It's just.
It was a year of like a lot of delays on big things.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's like like once again 323 and 324 were huge, but they kept getting delayed. 4.0 is obviously massive. It released 2 days ago, right? So it's like it opposed to other years when there was like just a lot more like patches coming out, but with less features, it can often feel like it's more impactful, you know?
Yeah. But this, it kind of has some big things in it. And I'm still in Stanton for the time being. I've not gone into Pyro yet because I just want to have a strong, stable sort of foothold in Stanton and just get some armor.
I'm hearing a lot of people start in Stanton, make some money, then they'll go to Pyro later.
There are definitely like we're starting to see the split a little bit, and I think it's awesome. Like you don't have to go there. It's okay, and people are finding still their fun in the game, which is cool. All right, I found my name ships. My MSR is named Scammed. My Reclaimer is named Soon TM, and my Carrick is named Imagine.
All right.
So yeah,
I actually really like
All-Star Citizen memes.
Unironically, that's a great name for a ship.
Yeah, the Imagine, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Pretty good names. So it's all just like Star Citizen memes have been my names. I don't know what my new ones would be. Maybe held the line, shit like that. In the next 12 months or so.
Yeah,
could be one.
That's a long name. It's just like 7 different ships in a row.
So it could be fun. But anything else, Doc?
Other than that, just sort of, I mean, it was an interesting year. Like we did get some interesting bits, but again, not as much as in previous years. But that's just the way it's been for the past couple of months, I guess.
Yeah, they set the expectations very high, and they missed them completely. I think this one was on them. They set the bar, and they didn't hit it. So they're
I think
everything they get is
next
deserved.
year as well because of what they've done this year. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but with people going away from the studio to do other things in their life, it'll be kind of what happens next year.
We'll see.
Are they going to hire people? Are they not going to hire people?
I will say just on the sort of like the expectations. I feel like they also, and this goes back to my communication from before, this year, as in when they were talking about expectations this year, they were a lot more vague than they had been in the past.
I was going to say the same thing. They did not make the same mistakes that they made last year. with the letter for the chairman this year.
They did not say everything in Citizen God is coming in the next 12 months.
Yep.
With the exception of like ships, but they're pretty consistent with ships the last few years.
Yeah, what did they miss? One this year out of the list
they missed
that they
one,
showed?
and it seems like it was like we're not going to have the mechanic in, so we'll pull that out. Right?
Yeah, like it was like and I don't think anybody was like mega pissed making threads about it. They were like, oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So a thread, Spectrum has just gone boom over the past couple of weeks with Pyro, and it's like
it's such good content reading Spectrum. Oh my god, people are so silly. It's so fun.
People are losing their minds over like components. It's like if you actually sat and looked at the components, like there's not that much of a step up between an A grade and a B grade.
No, like if you actually look at the stats, the people who are on the bleeding edge trying to get every tiny advantage they possibly can are going to be going for certain components for their builds. But you could get an absolutely fine experience by using B grade components. So people are being so stupid.
That's why I like what they've done with the FPS weapons recently.
Exactly.
Right? Like the bonuses are meaningful and scary if you lose them.
Yeah.
Yep. And
cool.
So all right, Doc, we'll let you go, but appreciate your call, and hopefully we're gonna be playing together a lot in the Oregon stuff over the next few weeks. I got some fun ideas.
Oof. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Talk to you,
Doctor. Have a good one.
All right. Yeah, and I was definitely gonna say that is that they set the expectations. They didn't set any.
Yeah.
Outside of
last year it was a ton. This year it's like let's not do that as much this year.
Let's see what happens. I like that's pretty much where we're at. Is like let's see what happens. So to end the year, I think they did the right things. Is they're not setting themselves up for failure. They're setting themselves up to succeed, because now whatever they deliver is going to feel less. Well, it should have been what like this, right? And then more of like, oh, cool. We got this thing, so I think that's pretty smart. All right, you want to try the actual cannibal?
Yeah, he said that he is hopefully going to be okay. He made some food, so.
All right, let's go. Let's see it. Let's see.
Cannibal, you're good?
Yeah. Went ahead and gave her a quick breakfast. She's still here, but we'll test the boundaries of CRISPR's abilities today.
All right.
Sure.
I'm going to turn you up a lot. Don't worry about your volume. I got you.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, so what do you want to talk about? 4.0, 2024? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I had a couple questions I thought talk about more, but my first question was more just ship related, which is now that we are kind of coming to the end of the year and we've had quite a large volume of ship releases to flyable and also concept ships, has this like modified your kind of tiering of, so what's your most disappointing ship nowadays?
Ooh,
the ones that come in overpowered and that kind of force you to the pledge store. Outside of that, I don't get disappointed.
I was gonna say just like ones that just haven't been touched in a while. Ones that are clearly like outpaced by new ships, because like, so for example, the Zeuses were a pretty cool release. Loved the Zeuses, thought they were very cool. The even to the extent of like the Mirai Pulse was just a very cool Gravlev that came out. The Star Lancer, pretty cool ship. Obviously the Polaris came out, all that sort of stuff. So it's like it's those ships like honestly the Prospector or the Starfarer or those sort of ones where it's just like they feel like they're in the wrong game. They need a big facelift.
Yeah,
especially with how like tall their with how tall they build their harvesting gameplay loop.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like for example, like you use between like Elite and Starses, and you have, or Elite and Eve. Let's do Elite and Eve. That's better.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about Elite.
Yeah. Elite has a very wide harvesting loop where it's a series of mini games, and you need a different tool for each harvesting loop. Whereas in Eve, it's you go to a belt, you point at a rock, you hit the laser. But there are a series of different ways you can optimize that laser to do more and more and more.
I'll even expand that to like there's also hacking gathering in Eve or like a salvage gathering in Eve as well. That
but
sort of stuff.
even with
interaction.
But even with mining, Eve does it so much better in the sense that like I would use a certain ship for gas mining and I would use a different thing for ice mining.
The depth
right?
is a lot lot better.
Yeah. And then you have like an entire series of ships where it's, you know, not even just the command ships. Having somebody who has a small hauler optimizes your harvesting loop in Eve significantly over just, you know, having a second miner.
Well, okay, fair. But in Star Citizen, small, like with what we've been doing at least, small haulers are starting to become a way bigger role than I thought they would be. Like the big haulers, I'm like, we don't need these. Get these out of here. It's the get in, get your stuff on, and get out. Especially in Pyro is feeling like a viable thing. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. That's why, like, for me, like the Arastra is like really disappointing for me because I came in looking at it and I was like, well, it'd be kind of cool if it did a lot of the more support functions where it has turrets, it has a cargo bay, it has a refinery. If it was able to also do, you know, like the gadgets instead of just being a bigger mole with a cargo bay, you know.
What do you mean by do the gadgets? Like craft them?
Either not
or just
necessarily
like do the
craft
role
them,
of the gadgets in a different way.
Do
like
do the
place
role of the
them?
gadgets and. Or its lasers aren't exactly like mining lasers. It just has
rather than being like an extraction laser, just a full on like
you're talking like
utility laser.
Rorqual or Orca gameplay in Eve, like these support roles
like
that give bonuses to the fleet. Yeah. Gotcha.
And I thought that was I thought that would be kind of cool because I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. It's kind of like a porpoise. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, porpoise. That's the one.
Now, what we have is kind of more of a ninja miner, which is fine in its own right. You know, it goes in, it drops a couple rocks, and harvests what it can, and then gets back to safe space.
Yeah,
that's
again,
fine.
I feel the same exact way as you. It just feels disappointing because you can see that it's ships that are being made and designed by people who aren't designing the game.
No.
I will say, like, with the Arastra, obviously it's not out yet. The way that I envision the Arastra, though, with crafting and everything else in mind, is rather than just being an objectively better mole, it fits more the exploration strat, right? The way that I see mining with the way they want to do it is you're going to get an org with 3 moles out, fully crewed, an expanse to refine stuff, or a like if you want to go even further, like
insert refinery ship. Yeah,
exactly. And it's more of an operation. The way that I see the Arastra is me and my mates are going to be on this for a couple of days. We're going to log in every few days and do some mining in this location, then this location, then this location. That may not be the way that it goes, but it's also really hard to speculate on ships that 1, aren't out yet, and 2, are not planned to be worked on anytime in the near future.
Absolutely. And that was the other thing is like, you know, it is still a concept ship and they've had their design interview on it, but they can change whatever they want at any point.
Yeah.
My hot take is I hope the Orion can never land on a planet. I want it to just
I don't think that's a hot take.
orbit.
I think that's that's exactly what it should be. I never want it to land.
I want it to just be in an orbit or in an asteroid belt the entire time.
Agreed.
My second question, I'm trying very hard to keep hold of it, was after we know that there's going to be a chapter 2 to the Save Stanton missions. I was wondering, like, they've talked about it being, you know, kind of a literary, what's the word I'm looking for?
Narrative.
Narrative, thank you. A narrative-driven kind of thing. What shape do you think Chapter 2 might take? What with us, Chapter 1 kind of introducing this well, Citizens of Stanton versus Frontier Fighters sort of thing.
I fully expect that phase 2 is just going to be essentially an intro to Pyro, where it is go do a very small cargo mission, go do an FPS mission, go do a whatever at different locations, but choosing Citizens for Prosperity or the Freedom Fighters. I don't think it's going to be as much of a like we talked about this when they mentioned that it was narrative experience. I don't think it's going to be feeling very much like a narrative experience. Yeah. Only to the point of you choose a faction and you start to get rep with that faction.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where it'll be.
Yep. It just uninspired, like uninspired isn't the right word, because it again puts this negative feeling towards the narrative team, which is not what I'm going for at all. I think those guys are awesome. It's the it just doesn't feel narrative at all. It's just
it's a very short thing for them to introduce, I guess. And I would hazard, I still think it is a good and like necessary thing if it is the way that I'm mentioning, because you do want a easy way for a new player to be brought into Pyro and experience the locations by literally being told to do so by the missions. Yeah. But it's never going to be the big cool experience that I think we are waiting for. That's going to be something else.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say they don't necessarily have the tools
Absolutely
to do
not.
what they want to do.
No,
and they're working with what they have.
Do you feel the faction struggle in Pyro, anybody? Do you feel it? I don't.
Actually, kind of, but only to a very small extent. The Headhunters versus Citizens for Prosperity thing does feel kind of real.
You don't see them fighting each other,
missions.
though, do you?
They are fighting each other. Those are the two factions fighting each other.
No, but do you actually see the two of them fighting each other, or are you doing missions where you go to Citizens for, or go to a Headhunters thing and kill Headhunters? That's the only thing I've seen so far. But I've been really unlucky then, because the only missions that I did the Citizens for Prosperity track, and it was straight up. Well, what are you seeing? Because I'm seeing the protect the ship from. Is that what you're considering?
I haven't been doing the pilot in distress ones, just because they were buggy on day one. They were missing.
Okay.
So just the FPS missions. The like if you do so once again from Citizens for Prosperity side, hey, come help us. Headhunters are attacking us. Whatever. I am seeing Headhunters attack Citizens for Prosperity.
Okay.
On day one, once again. And then I would come in and clean up. Right. If you do see any, there are a lot of like non-combatant NPCs in those locations. They are the like Citizens for Prosperity being attacked by the Headhunters and stuff. So you'll notice that a lot if you have a look.
That
wasn't even what I was getting at, though.
I never got an FPS mission for Citizens for Prosperity. Not a single one, and that explains why I never saw this. I could only do the protect me, I'm a pilot being attacked mission. That's it. That was the only one that showed up for me. So, damn, I missed out on that. That sucks. That's why I felt the way I felt.
For me, once again, still very small. It's not necessarily that. It's the fact that I've been getting negative rep for Headhunters while I've been doing these missions, because I've been killing Headhunters. And that's made me feel like there's a little bit of narrative there, where it's like I'm gaining rep here, I'm losing rep here.
I'm seeing this in chat, and I don't know if this is true or not, so just clue me in. They're saying you need to go to a land-based outpost, then open your Moby-Glass, and you'll see those missions.
No,
is that true?
You just need to... No, that's not true. You just need to be within the planetary system, just like in Stanton.
What planetary system are you around? Because I started around Ruin.
For those missions, Pyro 4 is where
That's
I found,
my problem, most likely.
Which I mainly did that because it's very underpopulated, because there's no close-by spawn stations.
Yep.
But I also had it at Pyro 3.
I did Ruin because I loved Ruin. The contested zone side of Ruin, but I guess what's happening to me is I'm getting the least amount of missions because of that. For Citizens for Prosperity, because they may not have a stronghold there or whatever.
Yeah,
stranglehold.
Or it's bugging too. Like it has been going that way a little bit.
Could be.
Sorry to take up all your time, Cannibal. Do you have
you're all good.
anything else you want to talk about?
No, I used to think that it would be cool if that chapter 2 like ended with us either having industrial players kind of supersede, where you'd have better sell prices for like first aid kits and stuff, and or PvP players would instead, for like frontier fighters, if you were helping frontier fighters take over parts of Pyro, it would be more just like kind of anarchy sort of thing. But I've reneged on that kind of like mindset after Mike has espoused recently, you know, like PvP players don't get a lot in this game, and they're finally getting a bone thrown to them. Let's just let them have it, you know. Kind of thing.
Just chill, man. They're happy for once. Like
as a professional Care Bear,
I'm
let
a
them
professional
have
Care Bear
this,
too.
dude.
Let them have some fun.
Hell yeah.
I'm a professional Care Bear that dabbles in PvP sometimes, and I never felt the need to dabble in PvP, and now I do. So.
Yeah. I used to just sit in a belt with my Orca and a bunch of mining drones and just watch code pop people in the nearby belts, and just like, it's all right. It's just how it happens.
Yeah.
But I'll let you guys go.
All right, Cannibal.
You know, cheers for the call. Appreciate it.
Yep. Cheers. Be good. There we go. Okay. And then Tubbs is next. Do you want to go to a few, like, real quick, some of the questions for the show, since we have a few before we go to any other callers?
Yeah, we can do them real quick.
There's
we want to make sure we end on time. So
yeah, a lot of them are related to the next show, so I'm gonna hold those. From like Punji Sticks and Snugs actually. Snugs, if you're listening, don't DM me questions from the show. If you're literally in the Answer the Call Discord, there's a channel called Questions for the Show. But I did take your question, and I plan on using it. Okay. But Punji Stick asked a question around why is COG so afraid of scheduled or emergency downtime? It seems they're happy to just let bad servers exist and rely on crashes to roll out the updates, as opposed to just taking servers down for a few hours and roll out a fix for all of them. I don't know. Like, we're all gamers. I
know the answer.
Okay,
I don't agree with the answer. The answer is they just don't want it to be that game. I want it to be that game because then the game consistently works.
Like a game that's down for a time?
Exactly, Because they don't want it to be the game where there's immersion. Any downtime. I don't think it's necessarily an immersion-breaking thing. It's a unique thing, maybe. Maybe it's an immersion-breaking thing. But I would prefer if they did weekly, if not daily, like downtimes. Other games do it to tons and tons of success. There are a lot of problems we obviously see, especially now that we're a couple of days into this patch, that only reveal themselves after some extended periods of time of the servers being live.
That could be the reason. That could be a reason why to not do it yet is to just expose the problems.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The unoptimized nature of the game allows them to recognize that, right? Like I spoke earlier, the longer servers stay up, the more things you see, the less the devs can blame on the servers, right? So that could be a legitimate reason.
It could be, but I think it's a good old Star Citizen scope thing of I think they just don't want to do it because they don't want to be that game, and that punishes us a lot for playing the game right now.
Yeah, be that game. Be that game. And you could be that game and then go, well, we're in alpha. You know, it's an alpha excuse. You can use it here.
Do it for a couple of years.
Yep.
And then
don't.
It, right?
And then don't if you don't want to be that game. But you need to be that game right now, most likely. If on live, yes. On the PTU, no. Or you could tell people that you're not taking it down for a week because you want to see what happens or whatever, right? But just, that talk about communication, that's where they're shit. They're really good about communicating with things that are related to marketing what the game is going to be, hype, things like that. They're pretty good about that stuff. What they're absolute dog shit about is communicating the current issues in the game. Like, this should be blasted on Twitter, in YouTube things, like quick little videos, or, like it doesn't always have to be this super produced thing. Communicate to your players. Like, how is there not the message of the day on Spectrum? How is that not a thing that is communicated on a platform like Twitter, right? Like, that's crazy to me. Or in game. Yeah, like that's crazy to me. So yeah, but
it does. I had a little thought there. I wonder if almost every single patch cycle, we have that experience of the last few days of PTU being insanely good. Everything's working. I'm barely experiencing bugs. And if I do, they're fixed the next day. Maybe it's because we're recycling the servers every 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we're not getting to see those things, right?
Yeah. But all right, let's get to callers. We got 3 left and we have 10 minutes. So guys,
super quick.
We're going to be quick with you. All right. Our next caller is Tubbs. Tubbs, welcome.
Tubbs,
again,
how you doing?
Tubbs, you got a few minutes, so we're going to give you as much time as we can give you.
All righty. That sounds like a plan. I've only got one topic.
All right, perfect.
So, I want to complain about something again.
Let's go. I love complaining.
The effort versus reward system / idea thing they're doing. Like, they make up a number for how much effort they think a mission is worth, or how difficult a mission is. I think the idea is such a catastrophically bad idea, and that by them continuing down this path, it will have negative ramifications for years to come.
Yes.
Sorry, so you're against effort versus reward? I'm confused.
Their implementation
very
of it.
heavily, heavily against it. Yes. The main reason being the amount of effort something takes in a game like Star Citizen is always dynamic. And I'll give you 2 examples. Right. Your first example. Let's say you're a bounty hunter and your gameplay loop is doing ERTs with your stealth bomber, right? ERTs have pretty chunky ships and they take forever to kill with guns. So you sort of want to use torpedoes. And let's say an ERT costs 100k, your torpedoes cost 30k, and you make 70k profit per mission.
Sure.
VHRTs pay about 70k. But because a torpedo can be in and out with an ERT, you can actually make more money an hour doing ERT missions. Right?
So I remember there was a thing where they were like, we think that it'll take you 27 seconds to load 1 box into a ship. And that's the vibe that they thought it was, and then they realized that it wasn't. So it's again, the developers don't have the amount of time to play the game that we do. It's not our fault that these things are bad, but it is, they seem to be estimating this effort versus reward thing incorrectly in a lot of situations.
I was going to say, would your complaint not be more just with balance rather than the system of effort versus reward?
It is not with balance. It is with the system itself.
But what you just described is a balance issue.
I haven't finished going through this, right? So your VHRT pays 70k. So where was I up to? There.
Oh, he's got notes. Let's go.
I do. I'm an organized cookie. So if you're good, you land your torpedoes, you can make more money an hour doing ERTs versus VHRTs. Now, let's imagine for a second that CIG absolutely juices the price of torpedoes through the ceiling, and you go out and you hop in your bomber and you realize that your torpedoes, which cost 30k, now cost 100k. And you're like, oh, well, I guess I can't do ERTs. And, if I have to use guns because torpedoes are too expensive, I can only do VHRTs. That's the optimal meta. And then ERTs get completely unused. No one does them anymore because it's just not worth slugging that out against a big, massive ship.
That's
for the amount of money they pay you, right? So the amount of effort has gone up.
Yeah, but that's because of a balancing change. So that's what I'm saying. Like you gave a proposed balancing change that made it worse, but there could be other balance changes.
Well,
right?
Exactly. Theoretically, right? If the economy team was very good, they could see these issues in advance and they could balance these problems, right? They say, oh, we're going to increase the price of torpedoes, so we need to make it worthwhile, to do these ERTs, which really only can be done with torpedoes. But I'll give you a second example. This one's a little bit more relevant and less to do with balancing. Let's say there's a cargo mission to take 100 boxes from Pyro 1 to Pyro 3. The mission pays roughly the same as all the other equivalent cargo missions. However, Croncy the pirate, Griefer, has been camping
savage.
camping out Pyro 3. with his gang, and you want to do this mission, but every time you go there, you're getting jumped by his pirate gang and losing all your stuff. There are a bunch of Pyro 3 box missions piling up, in the mission, and you want to hire some extra security to go and finish these missions, but because they've, the mission prices are static, and the team who tested this didn't run into any pirates and didn't need security, the price to hire a security force isn't factored into that mission.
This is why the missions are stupid. This is just generally why missions in general are stupid. I don't think it's the effort versus reward system. It's the idea that when you jump into Star Citizen, the first thing you go to is the missions, where the first thing you should go to is a certain location to fight certain enemies, to get certain things and certain rewards, including money. And then it's not a sandbox in that sense, and it's weird. But Tubbs, you're way over time already, so very quickly get to your point, because you've gotten to it.
My point is that they've said that it's a formula for how much effort they think a mission is going to take.
Yeah.
But as the game changes and as things happen in the game, the amount of effort is dynamic, and that's what makes Eve so great, is because the entire economy is dynamic.
I am so glad you mentioned Eve,
because you do get knocked out of doing certain things in Eve when things change.
Yeah, there's also just like there is like, bounty prizes are a static amount in Eve. Mission prizes are a static amount in Eve, but there is more to it. So your point there is relevant. The thing I wanted to bring up is some of the specifics of the issues that you had there that maybe cannot be addressed with balance could be addressed with player economy and crafting.
Yes.
And so that stuff may be okay. I am really mad that you're like one of our last callers, because I really want to keep talking about this, but I will just leave it with, I am interested to know what a different system would look like, because I think effort versus reward is a proven success in like most MMOs, but your concerns make sense.
How about we table this one, because this is what we're going to have to do at the beginning of the year, is do a lot more themed podcasts around a specific topic, and just diving into the current state of missions and the experience, the rewards, and all of that would be an excellent show, in my opinion.
It's so important to the game.
Yeah, so make sure you come to that one, Tubbs, and if you're available, you'll be our first caller for sure.
Cool. Awesome.
All right.
I might see you then, fellas.
All right, bro.
Sounds
Have
good.
a good Christmas.
Cheers, Tubbs.
Yeah,
you too.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Be good, brother.
Yep. Catch up.
Catch him, man.
Bye. All right, our next caller is Frosty. Frosty, can you hear us?
Yep, hello.
Hello. What's up, dude?
Yeah, quickly. 4.0, really bad live. EPT towards the end, it was good, whatever. They'll fix it. Onto the main point. For CIG, you have no excuses anymore.
Yes.
You cannot have any half-assed content or gameplay loops. It cannot happen, especially in 2025 when you're supposedly trying to have playability. For the sake of player concurrency, for sake of funding, etc., and for Squadron 42, you cannot do it. It cannot happen anymore, and you can't rely on the server excuses because server meshing. So it cannot happen.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you expect 2025? Like, is the game just gonna be good in 2025? Probably
God,
not.
no! It's CIG. At the end of the day, they say this every year, but because now they've given themselves a deadline of 2026 for Squadron 42, it's logical speaking. People are going to flock to Squadron 42 and expect, they're going to advertise. Oh yeah, we got the PU MMO. You can do this. It has to be in a playable state. It cannot be what we're experiencing now. But will it happen?
Yeah,
we don't know. It's CIG at the end of the day.
Yeah, when we talk about our 2025 predictions, my full prediction is, the major features are not tech in 2025. The major features are player features, player focused features.
Yeah.
And it needs to be that way.
Whether or not they'll be fun or good remains to be seen, but
yeah,
hopefully them actually doing it will be more fun. It now is, again, not our fault and is not on us, But man, posting good feedback actually is going to mean something for the first time ever. Because how many times you've been like, this mission is not fun because of X, Y, and Z, and then they go up servers. Nope, not anymore. This cargo missions are not fun because moving cargo is a pain in the ass, right? Is legitimate feedback if that's how you feel. And you know what? I thought I wouldn't feel that way, and I do. Because using the tractor beams is a shit experience. So there you go. I would happily do it if using a tractor beam wasn't a shit experience. So, but that's my feedback there. We're going to have to be moving cargo in all sorts of different situations. And things like that, right? So it's not just adding new content, but making the crappy content that you've already made actually fun and enjoyable. These guys need to remember that they're making a video game. And like Chris keeps talking about a video game that he wants to play. Well, you're going to be playing it by yourself, brother, if you don't start making some serious changes. Right? So that's a big thing. Your feedback really matters now. And they're showing it with doing this, whatever you call it, the survey and everything, that they want to hear it. And so not just on Spectrum, but just they're listening. And now they shouldn't have, like Frosty said, now they don't have the excuse to not act on that feedback anymore.
And I just want to add just quickly as well, the new, the graphing that they said in the letter with the EPTU stuff. I think personally, I'm just going to say it should be separate from the wave system. It should just be, if it's a hard hit of things like say server meshing, they just need to get people testing it. They just have to test it. Don't lock it behind Evo or Wave 1, Wave 2. Just let people test it and give feedback.
Open every time.
Yeah,
so open every time. 100%. Don't give the ships to Evo Cody first when they come out. Give them to literally everybody to try, and then maybe you'll get more ship sales by doing that too, right? They got to try it in the PTU.
Kind of make it like how experimental modes are, where it's technically open to everyone, right? Here you go. Play the feature.
And you're not held to the feature releasing in that way. It's literally out there for feedback, and then you could take it off, go back to the drawing board if it's absolute trash, and then come back with something new. They did that a lot with the engineering experimental mode. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right.
Cool.
All right, we'll let you go, Frosty. Bye now, and thank you. Frosty is one of my mods. Thank you, and a mod here in the Answer the Call Discord as well. Thank you for being awesome, and happy holidays, and thank you for everything. You're the man.
You too.
All right, later, brother. And our final caller, who always goes over time, SpaceMonkeyBusiness.
Space Monkey, the unofficial third member of Answer the Call.
Yep.
The last first-time caller of the year.
The last first time. Yep. The first and the last.
Yep.
So, what do you want to talk about?
Just real quick, because you wanna be in time, which is not fulfilled already. I think for the first 4.0 stuff, I think they've found a really good solution to end the year. I mean, for them internally, I think the goal is reached. Something is out live, even if it's not full live. It's just like a pseudo PTU with progress. But I think it's a good solution. And for them internally to gather data to find out, I think the foundation is set. I think server meshing is working. The bugs we see are, as I think, mostly related to the services around it. I mean, if the missions are not working at the moment, the QT markers, everything, I think, is a backend service that is struggling with the load that it's happening now. So I think it's good for them to gather data. And for me, it ends on a really good note, the year, even though I didn't thought it would be. But hey, it's a good progress they showed.
Yeah, and I'm glad it is. I just want to say, like the first day of the PTU really said to me, holy crap, server meshing is working, because I had 8 hours, 30 server FPS the entire time. The server was like the shard, I guess, was like full most of that. And it felt like my brain at no point was like, the server is going to hiccup, the server is having problems. Bugs happened, as they always do, but I never felt like the server was pulling me back from enjoying the game, which is a huge success. We will see what happens over the course of the next month, because that's the real test for server meshing. But it is a good start for sure.
For sure.
And it feels responsive. I mean, if you get into the ship, you remember that the messages that you enter the comm channel of the ship were delayed like
Delayed,
30
yeah.
seconds, and it's instant. You press a button, it's instant. The AI is responsive, and it feels pretty good besides the bugs. And I think it's a big step forward, and they showed that at least the stuff they are planned to do with server meshing is working. So kudos to them.
Like the question that I have for a lot of people that might be watching this in VOD form or whatever would be, like, if you've played 4.0 so far, do you feel like this is a good starting point, right? Because it does to me. It's like, yes, all of the problems that we're experiencing now don't feel like they're impossible to iron out. It feels like that they will be able to iron out these things. They will be able to optimize stuff. They can build on this with what they have instead of our experience at the beginning of this year, which was like, whoa,
exactly,
shit, dude. Like, what are we
And it
gonna
even-
do in this game?
And it even with the upped player count, you even feel it's more alive. I mean, the first stuff I did like a small cargo mission, and then I flew to the outpost. And the first thing that happened, like NPCs, AI stuff spawned there, attacked me, and I had to fight them. And then another player came and defended them with me, and or killed them with me, which is pretty good. And I feel like, I mean, the stuff of NPCs just spawning while you are somewhere doing something rarely happened in the other in the old version, and now it happens consistently, and that's pretty good. It's a really good feeling to see that the server meshing stuff has a great impact.
On live, I have not jumped through a gate without another player yet. There's always been at least one other person there jumping at that moment.
To speak on that, and it was also, I was going to bring it up at the end of the pod as like a sort of thing. There is an interesting sort of thing that's happened to my mindset because of the new player counts, and actually getting to experience them on Australian servers. I have never wanted Star Citizen to succeed more because at 2 a.m. Australian servers are so dead, and that's what I play. There was 130 people yesterday at 2 a.m. my time in the entire shard in Australia, meaning there was no one anywhere. It was more barren than it's ever felt before. So I have like that extra investment there of now I really need more people to start playing the game so I can feel good about it.
Yep,
maybe,
for sure.
Maybe it's also good for them to merge the Asian with the Australian servers. If I don't know how your ping is on them.
The ping isn't the worst, but it's still like not great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Two short points at the end. I think they need to find out something for the chat, because when the server is full and you're reading the chat, it feels like I'm watching a Twitch streamer with 2,000 people, and the chat is moving so fast that I cannot really get it into a conversation with somebody if somebody has a question or something.
Local chat,
I think they need to introduce like channels, which like this is the channel for questions regarding this and this, whatever.
They are. We know they are.
They need to get VoIP working, bro. VoIP, please.
Oh, VoIP,
yeah, VoIP's a big one.
In a system like Pyro, where it's kill on site, like no mic, no life kind of situations, and no mics work. Like, again, this will come up in weekend review. I had a situation where I came across two people and they looked at me. They pointed their gun at me in a ship.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? You're going to let them fire first? You can't. Like, what do you do in these situations? I can't hail him and be like, yo, dude, what are you doing right now? Like, are we cool? You can't do that. So it's like, it's brutal. So I had to kill them both. Welcome to Pyro.
Oh, no.
Sorry. And then they ended up stream sniping me later, which was great. Good times.
Fire first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
And the last point, I think I saw, I don't know when it was, like a couple of days ago, where you talked about, Mike, like server cost. I think that's might not be a big problem, because my guess is the old servers, or the servers for 3.24 are bigger, like in resource scale, and I think the servers that they're using for the shards and the server meshing are like on a lower scale. I think the virtual machines they're using don't have those many because they don't need it. So
hopefully not.
I think
Maybe.
I don't. I mean, we.
I was gonna say it would be a great
it...
IRC for them to go through the specifics of that, but it's also very possible that like
that would be
the only explanation would involve like proprietary technology and stuff.
Yeah, but who would be interested in that? I don't want to see an IRC about server costs, to be honest.
No,
I don't
but
know.
they can
not necessarily server costs, but like here's how this works. You know,
if you're correct, they could quickly say, yeah, we lowered our server costs by doing this. You know, and then done.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
And everyone going, yay! Like, you know, so the lower the server costs, the better.
You will only see it in the financial statements in 2 years because then you see it in the numbers there. But I think they don't have that big of an issue regarding the server costs. At least I hope.
Yeah, cool. Proxy says he wants that ISC.
Okay. I mean, there's always one guy who wants
confirmed,
that.
So.
There you go. All right. Okay. But all right, Space. Awesome. Let me go. My cousin is over Jacksonville, so she's almost here.
Enjoy your time. Happy holidays, guys. It was another great year for, I think, your content on the show, and looking forward to next week. Next year, not next week. Next year.
Well, we officially started the show at the beginning of the year this year, right? That was like our official start, kind of.
Yep. So, new channel, official start.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so all right, catch ya. Bye, Space.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Bye. That's probably a good place to end it. Is this the 52nd episode? Did we miss any, or is this the 51st? We missed 1 week.
I think we missed 1 week, but I could really quickly check.
We said this was our 50th the other day. And I think it was last week.
When I said 50th, I was talking about it was also on your old channel as well.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But either way, it has been a hell of a year.
I want to once
again, thank you, Mike, for bringing me onto the channel. Thank all of you for subscribing to the channel. We got like monetized within the first month because you guys just crushed it, and we've almost reached 6,000 subs. So thank you so much, guys. It's been awesome. Some great calls, some terrible calls too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really good fun time.
A good time, and yeah, I want to do more like themed podcasts in the future. I want to get back to to that kind of stuff because I don't think CIG is going to be as insane as they were towards the end of this year, where it was just nonstop patches. We kind of felt like we had to go through line by line all the stuff because there was so much stuff, and I look forward to getting back to these. Like, hey, what do you think about the mission system? What do you think about this? Bringing on guys like Red Monster again and people who specialize in their fields. And yeah, maybe talking to more PvPers and things like that, since that's, with Pyro, that's becoming so much more of a focus.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing now, right? So.
Yeah, so I look forward to that, but while also staying true to the show being about you guys and less about us, right? We get the first hour, you get the second, and we keep it 50-50. So, yeah.
Yep.
But thank you all for a wonderful year. And if you're watching on Twitch, as always, hit the follow button. And I'm going to go shout out Croncy. So you guys can follow his channel as well from the Twitch chat. If you guys are on YouTube, those links will be down below. If you're watching on Twitch but didn't catch the whole show, it'll be up on YouTube in probably about an hour or so from now. And thank you so much for watching, and don't forget
to answer the 2025 call.
Yeah, and then I look forward to the new show, like the show for at the beginning of the year with our new ideas. I'm just making you hold your phone on your ear for as long as